Hi, hello. My name is Godwin and I welcome you back. If you are coming back, thank you for joining us. And if you are completely new, I'd like to welcome you to these videos. We are here with the aim of helping people who are struggling with addictions to get out from their imprisonment and also to offer families an avenue where they can reach out to get help for their loved ones if they have somebody in their family that is suffering from an addiction. In the previous videos, we've spoken quite a bit about the topic of addiction. And by now, if you have been following, you surely know more than you did when we first began. I would recommend for you to check out the previous videos if you have not. I know that the link will be somewhere in the description area or in the comment section. Um, Please go back and watch the previous videos. In the most recent video, which is not this one, we spoke about the things that you would expect if you stopped using today, if you stopped doing a behavior that you have been doing as an addiction today. What would you anticipate as happening? And we saw two stages of what would happen. The first stage was the withdrawal stage. In one way or the other, a person who has stopped using or doing some behavior would experience withdrawal symptoms because they were used to doing something in a certain way and now it's not there anymore, so their bodies would react in a certain way, whether physically, whether emotionally, whether mentally. They would experience some effects as a result of cutting. We also saw that the second stage was the honeymoon stage, where you are now feeling good about yourself, you're feeling optimistic. After all, you are hooked on this one thing for such a long time, and just being free from it gives you a feel good effect, and that's okay. Feeling good is okay. Celebrating is even commendable, except we saw that in this stage the problem would be, the risk would be overconfidence or complacency, getting to a place where you feel so confident that you put yourself in risky situations, which make it easy for you to relapse and go back to to the behavior or to the substance that you had worked so hard to quit in the first place. And so if you haven't checked out that video, I recommend that you go check it out as well, just to get up to speed. In this video, I want to talk about the next stage of what you would expect when you stop an addiction. And this is what we call the wall stage, stage number 3, the wall stage. And just like the name suggests, an individual in this stage feels like they've hit a wall. It feels like things are going much slower. It feels like things are not moving as quick as you'd want them to go. It feels as if things have become boring, mundane, redundant. You've been doing the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't feel like you're making any progress. I'd like to say that this is quite a normal stage. When you begin anything new, at some point you would hit the wall stage where you feel like things are not moving as fast or as quick as you would like them to. In recovery, the wall stage, like the previous stages, you would have people, for example, cheering you on, people patting you on the back. It's exciting for everyone, including the person who is in recovery. However, as they stick to the path of recovery, people get used to them. It becomes the new normal for them, and so there's nothing too spectacular about it, and nobody is marveling about your journey. Nobody is patting you on the back as much as they used to. Probably you thought that by now you would have your career figured out. By now you'd have your business soaring. By now probably you had hoped that you and your significant other were in good terms. Perhaps your parents trust you more, maybe your siblings, and you have a better relationship. Perhaps you thought by now you'd be building your own family. But those things just seem to not come as fast as you'd want them to, and so it feels like you've hit a wall. Things are not moving as fast as you'd want them to. I'd like to say that this is quite a normal stage. All you have to do is keep on doing the same things you have been doing since you started recovery. The things that kept you sober through the withdrawal stages, the things that kept you going through the honeymoon stages, are the same things that will keep you going even in the wall stage. You have to get up in the morning and pray. You have to get up in the morning and read meditate, you've got to go to meetings that are helpful to you, you have got to stay connected to the right people, you've got to go to work, you've got to go to school if that's what you're doing. You just have to do the same thing that you've been doing. These are the things that keep you sober. You do them until they become norm, because the next stage is called, adjustment and resolution, where you now adjust to the new life. But how do you adjust to something that you haven't committed to? So somebody once said that the difference between somebody who is successful and one who is not successful is commitment, consistency, not giving up. And so even in recovery, that is also true, that the difference between somebody who stays sober for their entire lives and he who relapses is consistency, the ability to stick to the things that keep you sober even when they feel mundane, even when they start to feel boring. And we were reading a text yesterday or the day before yesterday with a couple of people that we are in this journey of recovery with, and we were reminded pleasantly that the that it's a blessing for us to have things to do in our recovery, things that we didn't used to do in our active addiction. In our active addictions, we were unpredictable, we were spontaneous. We'd wake up one morning and we wouldn't know what the day brings. We just know we had to get high, and with the high, anything would happen. So it was a life full of spontaneity and living on the edge. So when we come into recovery, we start to develop some normalcy in our lives. And this text was saying how this is a blessing, being busy, having commitment with friends, having commitments at work, having hobbies, having projects that we do, becoming a contributing member of society. And sometimes in recovery, this may feel like it's too slow, it's too boring. I've been doing the same thing over and over again. It feels like I'm not moving. But if you keep on doing those things, they become your new normal. You adjust to them and it becomes a resolve. You wake up in the morning and just you feel blessed to have commitments that you have to keep. You feel blessed to have connections you have to hold. You feel blessed to have work and projects. You feel blessed to have a family that you have to take care of. And these are the things that keep us going. Like I said a couple of videos ago, we have to develop a lifestyle. An addict has to develop a lifestyle. An ex-addict, sorry, has to develop a lifestyle where it is impossible for addiction to thrive. There is a certain lifestyle that addiction thrives in. So when you come to recovery, you cannot come with that same lifestyle. There has to be a change in lifestyle where addiction is choked out, it is starved to death. Like I joked one time saying, that even if I walked into a bar right now, I wouldn't know what to do. My life has so drastically changed that it can no longer withhold the kind of life I used to live when I was in active addiction. And I know this is not just my story alone. Many people have the same testimony that their lives have changed so drastically that the things they used to do no longer make sense to them now. And this happens through the war stage, where you keep doing those things until they become part of you, even when you feel like you're going slow or you feel like things are becoming boring or mundane and all that. Today, I do these videos on Sundays, so this is Sunday night. But today in the morning, right after church, I met with this guy who is about 7 months sober in recovery, and he has been looking for a job. He hasn't found a job yet. And I was so encouraged by him, because when I asked him whether he had found work yet, he said, "No, I haven't." And he had this look of excitement in his on his face. And he said, "No, I haven't, but I know that God is doing something in the background. Something is coming." He was so optimistic about it, so enthusiastic about it. Meanwhile, he has to wake up in the morning and do the same things he did when he was starting off on month one. Now it's month seven, and he has to wake up and read texts that are encouraging. He has to wake up and pray to make himself breakfast, chores in the house, go out, look for a job, come back, spend time with his significant other, make calls, reach out to us, go to church. All those things, he just does them, and he does them enthusiastically. It's a blessing for him to have these things he didn't have when he was in active addiction. And so these are encouragements to you who has decided to stop using. You would definitely go through these four stages, and I recommend you go back to the videos just to look at what you would expect if you decide to stop using. Insanity is described as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So we cannot come with the mentality that we used to have in active addiction into recovery. It just doesn't work. We have to have a complete shift in the way we do things, and these steps provide for that. So in the videos that will follow, we will embark on actions that will help us to change lifestyle, actions that will help us to change the way we think, how we interact with people, how our belief systems, our thought patterns, all those things that will help us to develop a new lifestyle in recovery that will make it difficult for us to fall back into our old patterns and subsequently fall back into active addiction. Just a quick recap: the three steps toward that we looked at previously towards breaking free from addiction is that we had to come to believe that were powerless over our addiction, that we had tried over and over again by our own might and we just could not help ourselves. We tried cutting down, we tried controlling, we tried managing it, we tried quitting altogether, and all these things just seemed not to work. And the second step was coming to believe that God could help us where we had failed to help ourselves. So, and that's not difficult to see, because if I can look at my own track record, I can see just how many times I have failed. And some people would justify themselves saying that, oh, I mean, I stayed sober for 5 months that last time, or last time I stayed sober for 2 years. Well, you would not call it a success if you went back to using, regardless of how long you had stayed sober. We are talking about a complete life of sobriety. We're talking about living the rest of your life sober, living until you die without touching another drink, and that is possible only by the help of God. And the third step was giving Him our lives. If we have come to the realization of the fact that we are powerless and that He has all the power, then the logical decision would be to surrender our lives over to the care of Him. Now, in the next video, we'll be talking about actions that we have to take to remove things that block us from God. He is supposed to help us. He only can help us. However, there are things that block us from Him. In the next videos, we'll be talking about actions that will help us to remove things that block us from God. Our decision in the third step was to give Him our lives, but we have to go into a rigorous action of removing things that block us from this God who is supposed to help us to break free from addiction. And it's quite an exciting exercise to do. All you have to do is have the willingness and the open-mindedness to do this together. I've seen people do it, and I've seen people's lives change as a result of it. And in any case, if you are here just for the sake of learning, you have never been an addict, and by the grace of God, you will never be one. This will also help you to self-improve. It's not just for addicts alone. I have seen that this program helps anybody who opens up to it. And so I hope that is you. May the good Lord bless you through the day or the night or whatever time you're watching this from. I hope that you are having a good time and that your life is getting better and better, escaping from hell below. Yeah, God bless you and keep you indeed. Please share this video, like it over at the YouTube channel, subscribe, follow me on the different social media handles that you find me in, and may the good Lord bless you indeed.